This is the Gamers Lounge podcast for the week of January 28th of 2014.
That man is playing Galaga. Thought we wouldn't notice, but we did.
Hey everybody, welcome to the very first episode of the Gamers Lounge podcast. My name is John Meadows. I'm your host. With me, as will always be, hopefully, is Nathaniel Fuller, the co-host. How's it going, Nathaniel?
Going good. Haven't got a pestilence yet, so, my plans for me being host is fine for now.
That's good, because, we don't want you to disappear. I mean, just out
I don't either.
Well, no, we don't want that. We are missing one person. We usually have one other person with us. That's Eric Kubik. He has some family in town this week, so he's spending time with them. It's very important to spend time with your family. So he should be here next show, though. He's also one of the co-founders, along with Nathaniel and me, for thegamerslounge.com, which just launched a couple days ago. So this is our first show for this, for our website. I can say that now. I can officially say our website, right? Because it technically is
it's nice
ours.
to be our website instead of, we've done podcast stuff before that's
right.
for other websites, so it's kind of cool to be under our own flag.
Yeah, it is. It is kind of cool to be under our own flag. So, and a lot of you guys will know us from the Goozer Nation podcast, Gamers Outsiders podcast, and we're going to do everything exactly like we've done on those shows because, you know what, if it isn't broke, then don't fix it. That's been my philosophy anyway. So what we're going to do is, like we always do, we're going to start out by finding out what we've been playing, what we've been doing.
Bobby, I told you no video games at the table.
No video games. That's very important.
No. We'll have to work on how to do that and sound a little more professional. Right?
Yeah, no, we'll figure it out.
New toys.
Right. New toys, very important. So, Nathaniel, I'm going to let you go first because the only thing I've been playing is Tomb Raider, so go ahead. What have you been playing?
Tomb Raider ain't bad.
No, it's not. Go ahead.
We haven't talked about it on this show yet.
No, that's true. But go ahead. Let's talk about your addiction.
Yes, my addiction. I am Nathaniel. I am addicted to Minecraft.
Yes.
Minecraft I play tons of it. I go up and down with it a bit, but I've been full on the last 2 weeks. Just Minecraft is the only thing I've played.
Yeah.
It's sometimes I'm playing other stuff and throwing Minecraft with it, and then sometimes I'm just full on must do Minecraft, always building, always mining.
Well, there's so much to do in it. I mean, that's the thing.
Oh, yeah. That's what I love about Minecraft. And I'm going to have to try and get my thoughts together and put a blog post or an article thing together for the site, I think, on the many reasons why I like Minecraft. It's because you can do so many different things within Minecraft now, especially when you put in, servers. It's most people think of, the 360 version since it's been so popular. Well, the PC has too, but ever since they launched it on 360, now PlayStation 3, it's done pretty good to start with.
Yeah, it's in real.
That lots of people have played it there, and they only know it from there. So kind of single-player world, and you build up your stuff, or playing with your friends. Whereas on the console, it's kind of just together. So you invite your friends into your world. You don't have it kind of separate. Mm-hmm. It's a little bit different on PC. You can get it where you can make a world and bring your friends into it. It's just a little bit harder to do.
Right.
It's more based around servers and stuff on PC version, which is what I play. I started out playing 360 a long while back. Played it for a long while, then been doing PC for probably a little over year and a half or so ish, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
I'd have to look exactly.
Well, and there's so much more you can do on the PC.
And once you do the PC version, you don't want to go back to the Xbox version because it's not like it's a bad version, but it doesn't have as much of the stuff that the PC version has, and so you like miss it when you try and go back.
Right.
For the longest time, like I was trying to go back to 360 for a while, play with friends, which was still fun, which is the reason I kept doing it and overlapping when I first did it. And now most of those friends have PC version too, so that's where we all play. But
that's cool.
They didn't have the upside down stairs on the Xbox version for the longest time, and that's for a builder like me, like that's such a pain because you use them all the time.
Yeah, it makes sense.
But yeah, I've been doing it's a lot. I have my YouTube series that I do that's all single player stuff that I've been taking a bit of a break from. I've still got plans for it, but mostly it's been taking a break for it because when I'm playing Minecraft, I've been playing it on servers online with friends. Mm-hmm. So just like, I've got other things I need to play with my friends. So I've done kind of two different ones I've been doing. One is the XPD Plot World, the creative server. Mm-hmm. So basically, it's a world of plots, hence Plot World. Like you get I think it's about 201 by 201 block plot. You can you just go on there. You don't have to pay anything, and you get one. Mm-hmm. You can donate to the server, and you can get more.
That's cool.
And so one of my friends was on there building, and he's like, "Hey, come on and look sometime. If you want to build stuff, you can." So it was just kind of gotten on there and messing around, and we've been building kind of like a steampunk village farm area. So we got a bunch of these crazy big steampunk tower houses. He's got a floating island with some houses on it. We've got some farms. We've got a dragon up in the air.
Good night.
I've built a tower thingy. It's kind of crazy.
That is crazy. Jeez.
I need to make a video on it at some point because we've got it's still a work in progress. A lot of interior work isn't done yet, but make a nice sort of montagey videos. Like if I get the time, and he's been wanting one made. He kind of made it like a slideshow video himself of just screenshots. Mm-hmm. But I'm going to try and see if I can do a nice, some camera work and fly through it and put it to music, make kind of a little video for him when I get time, which that's the hard part with any of this stuff. Just get the time to make things.
I understand that.
Put them on YouTube. It takes more time than you might think.
Oh, yeah. I mean...
So, yeah, we've been doing that. He's... Unfortunately, his friend who got this whole thing started on there, his laptop died on him, so he hasn't been able to play in a while. And we're, every time anyone's mentioning something on Skype, he's like, I wish I could play.
Torture. Just torture him. That's too bad.
Yeah, that one's all, it's in creative mode. The server's really cool because you have their spawn areas set up and it's got, rules and things set up. It's here's how you get your plot. And here's what you can do on it. And then they have a showcase area. So It's got a few different plots of just people and a few things where they've done community builds where anyone can participate in it.
Oh, that's cool.
And then now you can go and they've got one that's a big shopping mall where you could, when they were doing it, you could get a little area and build your own shop within this thing. It's a full-size shopping mall. It's crazy.
Really?
It's pretty awesome looking. And then they've got one that's outer space was the theme, and they've got one that's New Year's, one that was Christmas, and it's the server. There's a YouTuber called Shishumavoid. I always not sure exactly how to pronounce it. It's spelled with an X, X-I-S something or other.
Anything spelled with an X is hard to know how to pronounce.
Yeah, I think it's Shishumavoid. I don't know. That's close enough to get the idea.
Yeah.
But it's his server, and then there's a bunch of other admins and stuff on it. It's a pretty well-run server.
That's cool.
And there's all sorts of cool stuff to just go look at if you want to. Just outside their main kind of spawn area, there's this giant statue of a dude who's got a big club, and he's throwing a giant boulder into the ground. And they have somehow, with some random tricks, have put a bunch of water splashing in the air this giant thing. Yep. And it's pretty awesome looking. They've done a few tour videos. They started an official YouTube channel for the server. So they've done a few, I think 4 tour videos now. That's in the first one.
Wow, that sounds cool.
And I'll have to remember to add it to the show notes. I've got the website on here, but I'll have the YouTube channel as well if people want to check out that type of stuff.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So it's all creative mode. So you can use World Edit. If you donate, you can use World Edit, a limited version of it, I think, which is kind of you can do copy paste and all sorts of other functions with that. And you just, you're in normal creative mode, so you don't have to gather any materials. You can just place blocks like Legos, and there's some crazy stuff on there. It's pretty nice to just go around and look for inspiration for some stuff too, because you're like, oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
I got an idea. I want to build something like that now.
That's the one thing I have never done. I've dabbled in Minecraft. I have it on the PC, but I've never went to any online servers or anything like that. I've always just done the single player.
That is one of the reasons why Minecraft has stayed popular, I think, is the multiplayer stuff.
Yeah, I think so.
And YouTube, and or the combination of both. Because if you can play with friends, you can go on a bunch of public servers, you can set up a private server for just you and your friends, you can rent them, or if you have, a PC at home that's hooked up well enough, you can run it for free off your own. Although that could get expensive if you want to set it up. But hey, some people do it. But, all sorts of stuff. But there's also several groups of YouTube people that play together, like Mindcrack and a few others that are real popular over time, that are all multiplayer servers. So it's kind of you get the interplay between people, and like in these videos, people are, pranking other people, or, just doing group events, doing all sorts of stuff, and it makes it, a lot of people like watching that stuff, so it's kept Minecraft popular. In addition to many of the other things, like they're always updating the game, adding new stuff. And you have all sorts of different things you can do, like creative mode. You have your survival mode. You can do adventure maps that, you can go on, and it's kind of like a little mini adventure, I guess is the best way to put it. I was trying to think of a different name for it, but people have made like even sort of little RPG games within Minecraft because of, they have command blocks, they have functions, you can do all this sorts of crazy stuff. Then you have kind of multiplayer things as well, that you can go on a server and play all sorts of competitive mini games, so like deathmatch stuff or hide and seek, like all sorts of crazy stuff.
Hide and seek,
so just great. The variety of things you can do is like there's something for everybody in Minecraft, I think.
Yeah. And I think that's why everybody likes it. Little kids like it, adults like it, everybody. Everybody that plays it likes it, and it's just all ages because there's just so much different stuff you can do. So.
Well, it's amazing some of the stuff, like, kids. It's great, I think, that Minecraft is kind of a creative outlet, and it gets kids or old people, or how many different people are on there, different ages, working together on something. So that's why the XPD or servers like it, where you have like community builds, or there's just build teams out there that just do their own thing and build these crazy things. And there's like that part of it. Or, if you're doing survival, which is another thing I'm on, is the mined lands, MINED, like we've mined these lands, kind of is how it's spelled. Mined lands survival server is another one that my friends have been playing on. So it's in survival mode instead of creative mode, so we've got both of our outlets there. So, go in there, start our mines, build our little village and stuff, but you have to work for it all.
Yeah.
And that one's kind of fun because there's like a bunch of, I think we're some of the older people that go on there. There's a bunch of younger kids and things on there. So you'll notice in chat every once in a while, like, I gotta go, Mom says it's time for bed, stuff like that. It's pretty funny. But, that's what another weird little reason I love Minecraft is, like, for the most part, it doesn't matter, like, what your age is. Whereas, like, the first thing you think of when you talk about, like, Xbox Live or something like that is, like, all the filthy 12-year-olds who, just say anything they want, get in your face, and just, like, you talk about shooters or any other competitive online thing. It's like, oh, they're terrible, they're stupid, I mute them all. Like, I hate all the, stupid 12-year-olds that have their Twitch reflexes and scream at me and say every single profane word under the sun. That's kind of, it doesn't happen all the time, but it's certainly very, very often that you run into that online for, that type of game. But for Minecraft, it's a completely different vibe just from the game itself. And it's fine. Every once in a while you'll run into some stupid people, old or young, doesn't matter. But
you get that in
it's amazing some of the, like, 12-year-olds, what they can do in this game. It's crazy. Like, I think part of it is because, a lot of times you get older, you lose your imagination somewhat, or you're just more set in your ways, whereas, kids are like, hey, I just want to experiment and do all this stuff, and they can come up with some crazy, awesome things. Plus, they have a lot more time sometimes to throw into this stuff, so...
That's true. Sit around school thinking about it all day, so,
Yeah, it's like, oh, I gotta get back in Minecraft with my friends and build our giant castle, or build, like, whatever, build a big pixel art thing, or do build a big machine. That's another thing. You can build machines within Minecraft and do all sorts of crazy stuff, or you can just build epic buildings, or you can just like go mining, or you can go exploring. You can do whatever.
Right.
All sorts of different outlets.
Yeah, that's what makes it cool.
That is why I'm addicted to it.
Yeah, I understand, and that's why I don't play it much, just because I would be the same way. I would never play anything else, so it's like, ugh.
I need to get you on the server sometime.
Yeah, we got to.
If you don't do much, we can get you a little house built. Like actually on the mined lands. I keep saying that wrong. Survival server the other day. Like since I'm kind of one of my favorite things in the game to do is building stuff, and some of the other friends I play with, they don't like building stuff as much, or they're just like, I don't want to put something next to your guys' stuff. It's too like awesome looking. My thing will look like crap. So I've built one thing, and I've got another thing in the plans that I'm gonna next time I'm building like a house for one of the friends on there. He likes to do a lot more machines and do mining stuff underground, and so he wanted a nice kind of house for the top part of it, more as a decorative entrance, I guess.
Yeah.
So I've got it all planned out in creative mode. I just got to go on the server and build it. I think I, gather materials that I need and all that. The other day I built one for another guy. He didn't want a house, but I built him a campsite. So it's got like a tent and a campfire. I even put like a clothesline. Pretty much that's why like Minecraft is kind of like Legos. Even if you're doing like the survival version where you have to work for it, you still kind of like, okay, I'm only limited by kind of my imagination. Right. I know all of the things I can get and put it together in a fun way. And like, ooh, that turned out really cool,
Sweet. Well, the only thing I've been playing is I actually did pick up the Tomb Raider Definitive Edition for PlayStation 4. I wasn't going to, but it came out early. It ended up they lifted the release date so I could get it on Friday, so I had it for the weekend. It's really pretty. It's just amazing.
Oh, yeah. You haven't seen the PC version, have you?
No, I don't have.
Other than maybe a video or something.
Yeah, that's all I've seen.
Like if you're going from, 360 or PS3 version to the PS4 or Xbox One or whatever, good jump into next gen is going to look a whole lot better for you.
It does. I mean, it's just amazing because the graphics are awesome. It's got the hair thing, but on the PlayStation 4 it moves at 60 frames a second, and I can tell it does because I can just move around way too fast, move the camera around way too fast. And it was
definitely, if you're used to a game, like if you had a game set up where you could just throttle it and you're like, okay, I'll set it all up. It's at 30 frames a second. It feels good. And then you take that throttle off and you put it to 60 frames a second. You have to adjust sensitivities and things. Oh, yeah. Because otherwise it moves a little bit too smoothly and quickly just because it has twice as much, it's twice as sensitive basically for your inputs.
And I noticed when I would play it on remote play with the Vita, and it would still move at 60 frames per second. I'm like, holy crap, this is too fast for the Vita. I've got to slow down. It's too fast because I'd actually accidentally hit the button to record a bunch of stuff, and I just went ahead and uploaded it to Facebook and then used a program to pull it off of Facebook and put it on YouTube to put in my review on the website for it. And on the YouTube page I put, this is me playing on the Vita for the very first time, so I'm kind of staggered around in a couple places because I don't know what buttons do what. But
that's one of those things that, like, if you're playing a bunch of games that run at 30 or close to that frames a second, and then you jump up to 60 or higher, whether you're on PC or just a next-gen console, it's a little jarring. But once you play that for a while, you just get used to it.
Oh, yeah.
And then when you try to go back to 30, you're like, oh, this feels so slow and choppy.
It's like when I was playing Warcraft and I wouldn't run anything in the background, I could pull, if I would stop it usually at 60 frames, but every once in a while I'm like, well, let's see what my graphics card could do and just let the computer go however fast it wanted to. And I would pull like 120 frames a second. I was like, okay, I can't do that. It's too fast because it was just going.
Well, are you talking about just like old school Warcraft or World of Warcraft?
No, World of Warcraft.
Okay. Well, that shouldn't even matter because you're not going to see more than that on your monitor unless you have like a higher hertz monitor. Most monitors are at 60, just the regular kind. You have to go out and get the more expensive ones. You can't actually see it as far as your refresh rate on your monitor, but you can feel it.
Yeah, and that's what it is.
To a
You can
point.
just feel it. It's just.
But
really
then once
weird.
you get the ones that are like if you get up to like 144 hertz monitor, and then you get up, you're actually like displaying all those frames. It can be jarring at first. You're just not used to how it looks.
I think this one's
Because with any like TV or anything, you're just not used to seeing it at a higher refresh rate.
Right. Yeah, it's crazy though. It's crazy how good it looks. What makes me most excited about it is I can't wait to see a true next gen game that's developed from the ground up. You know, so far everything's ports.
Oh, okay, we'll have to add it to the show notes. There's one that I want to talk about later.
Okay.
A new game announced that it seems kind of like some of it that they're doing feels next gen to me.
Yeah. But you know, that's what I thought. I was like, looking at it, and my wife was sitting there watching me play it, and she was like, "Well, I remember when you played played it the first time last year. It didn't look anything like that." I'm like, "No, it didn't." Just the water and the mud on her jeans and her face and the blood and it's really good. I didn't think I would have that much fun playing it again, but I did. So.
But you did.
Yeah, but I did. So
I'm curious that since I've played the PC version, it'd be interesting to go and look at that and see some of the subtle things like the water.
Yeah.
If you have the water cranked up so high, like they do a really good job with ripples and things, and it is affected by how you're moving through it. Yeah. The hair, and there's a bunch of other little things.
Well, there's the hair,
and
then
I think they've probably gotten most of it in there, just maybe slightly lesser than the PC version, but it doesn't quite matter because you're on TV,
right.
So it'll feel the same, even though technically, if you're looking at all the specs, it's not the exact same, but It's not going to matter.
Well, but all the foil.
Man, that game is a really, really good looking one.
Yeah, I mean it does. It looks really good. I was very, very impressed with it. The lighting's awesome. The foliage looks good. The like I said, her hair, the snow blowing in the wind, the sun. The lighting in it. It's just really good. I'm very impressed. It's more than just a HD upgrade. I mean, they've had to went back in and actually redone textures and things because it doesn't look like a normal HD upgrade like we saw from PlayStation 2 to PlayStation 3 or something like that. So I still don't know if it's worth $60, but I traded some stuff in for it, so it's not like I paid $60 for it anyway. So I felt vindicated. But all right. Well, that's it. Haven't been playing a whole lot. Been busy with work and getting the site up and going and things like that. So not too much going on this weekend, though. Of course. It's still snowing outside here. I don't know what it's doing there, so may have time tomorrow. So may not be able to go to work. We'll see. We can always hope. But all right. Well, we're going to go on and do the news. Ooh, the news. Okay. I know this
so official sounding.
Yeah, I know. It does, doesn't it? Sounds real official, like we should be on TV or something. But no, we shouldn't. No. But anyway.
Yeah, we don't need to see us on TV. It's crazy.
No. We want to get listeners, not chase them away. But anyway. No, I'm just kidding. I left this story in here because it's a couple of weeks old, but we never got to talk about it, so it was. It's the Nintendo news about Nintendo cuts their Wii U forecast sales forecast from like 9 million to 2.8 million, which is to me more reasonable. Anyway, I thought 9 million was just a little too high to begin with. But and the fallout from it has just been horrendous. Stocks fell. People were wanting the CEO to resign. He said he wasn't going to. I don't know. I think everybody is giving up way too early on the Wii U. It's only been out. See, when did the Wii U launch? A year ago? Or has it been 2 years ago?
It's been out a little over a year, I think.
Yeah, I mean,
because this past fall was the two new ones, and then it was the year before.
Right.
So it's been a year and several months now.
I mean, I think everybody's given up way too quick on the Wii U. I mean, I know it doesn't have the third-party support like a lot of people like and want. But, I mean, that's okay. It's still a Nintendo console. Really, the GameCube didn't have that much third-party support anyway, and it still did okay. It's in October, this past October, they had sold just under 500,000 Wii U's in 6 months, which meant if they wanted to hit that goal that they originally had anyway, they'd had to sell like 2 million every month just to hit the end of year, expectation, which is not going to happen unless you sell it for $100 and come out with some crazy new game that everybody wants. It's just, I don't know. I hate to see it. It reminds me of the whole Sega Dreamcast thing. People going crazy when Sega brought out the Dreamcast and nobody cared because the Saturn had come out, 3 years before and was too expensive and the games were terrible and no third-party support on it. I mean, but I don't think Nintendo's going away. I mean, there's no way they're going
There's
away.
no way.
They're still going to make consoles. Whether they sell 1 billion of them or 1 million of them, they're still going to make them.
At least for now. I mean, it's going to take a lot to bring Nintendo down. They're just such a staple of the industry, and just also the differences between a Western company based in like the U.S. or Europe versus one that's Japanese.
Right. Well,
which is another thing. Was like seems like sites are trying to make a big deal. Is like Iwata says he won't resign as CEO and they're not going to shake up management. I was like, that's partly because of the Japanese, culture about like companies act and things. And I think it would be a bad idea anyway, because I don't know. It's not like they've been doing something terrible. I don't know.
Well, and even
there's examples of that in the past. Sure, they make some mistakes, but it's not like they do anything that means that they should resign. It's not like he had like a scandal or something.
Well, and even Microsoft and Sony have both come out and said, look, you can't have a video game. You can't have video games without Nintendo. And they want Nintendo to succeed just as much as Nintendo was to succeed. Now, maybe not more than them, but they don't want them to go away, is what they're saying. They don't
for
want
sure,
them to
especially because they have their own flavor and they do bring out things that, influenced the industry a lot, as far as some with game design, some with like controllers and other things back in the day. Like they are a huge part of the industry.
Well, look at the Wii. When the Wii came out, it was nothing but a glorified GameCube with motion controls. But the motion controls really took off. Well, what did Microsoft and Sony do? Well, Sony came out with their own motion controls that looked almost exactly like the Wii U controllers, and Microsoft came out with the Kinect. Now, if Nintendo had to come out with a Wii console with the motion controls, would we have had the Kinect and, the Move for the PlayStation? Maybe, maybe not. I mean,
I would say no.
Probably not.
Because the whole reason we might have seen it now for this, PS4 or the Xbox One, maybe, because I'm sure they were probably messing with some stuff in R&D, like, oh, this is kind of cool. But they really put a rush on it when the Wii was so popular.
Right. Well,
and so
even with the Wii U, I mean, with the screen on the controller, I mean, look at remote play.
Yeah, the potential of that thing is pretty cool. It's just there's not been games for it until kind of like now-ish.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's been a few, but like no big, gigantic games until about now, where it's like, oh, okay, there's a new big Mario game that everybody seems to like. And we got Pikmin and a few other things out. And I was like, okay, now there's a few things to play for it.
All right.
And it will start picking up a bit. Kind of like the 3DS. I don't think it'll pick up as fast as the 3DS did. Just because the handheld stuff from Nintendo is just like sells like hotcakes once they get going.
I mean, that's where they're getting their money at. They're sitting on old Wii money and 3DS money. Because I don't.
Well, and even the original DS money, like. They're fine for a while. They can take some hits, but they can't, keep making mistakes forever and ever and ever. And they won't, because Nintendo's smart. Like, say what you want about the Wii U. They did some smart stuff, and there's some cool potential with that. Yeah. And they're doing something different. And if you don't take risks to do something different, you'll just always end up with the same ho-hum stuff and never go anywhere with it.
Well, and I think a lot of it, too, is marketing. because you have such a base with the Wii U or the Wii with people who had never owned a video game console, or some that have never had a video game console since the Atari days, So, they don't understand why they should go out and buy a new Wii. Well, I've got a Wii. What do I need a new Wii for? And I don't think Nintendo has been real clear on, with their marketing, what they want to do with the Wii U other than have a second screen,
Yeah.
But I'll get one eventually. I mean, I want to play the new Mario. I want to play the Wind Waker remake.
The one thing I'm very, very disappointed with the Wii U is that they're keeping Retro Studios on making Donkey Kong games instead of giving them something a little more complex to do.
Right. Because
Metroid Prime and the two sequels are probably my favorite games from, GameCube and Wii, because the third one was on the Wii.
All right.
Although they put it on GameCube too, but I think, I'm thinking of Zelda. Anyway, but those are some of the best games, and they're like pretty, complex as far as, big AAA title things. Whereas it's not like Donkey Kong Country isn't a big game. It's just kind of, I don't know. It's a more simple platformer, and there's not as much depth to it, I guess.
Exactly. But, it's
so if they had to let them do another Metroid or even just another franchise and say, here, go nuts, that would be awesome, and that would pull me in. Or if, they put a new Zelda out that looks really, really good.
Yeah. And
that doesn't look like the same thing over again, then that might make me want to get one. If it just looks like, hey, it's yet another Zelda game, I'll be like, ooh, that's cool. It's in HD now, but I probably wouldn't be wanting to rush out and get the console just for that.
Right. Well, we'll see. I would say in the next year, sometime this year, maybe by Christmas, I bet it'll probably be out. We'll see, though. Let's see. So what's this? DICE announces Battlefield 4 Appreciation Month. I saw something about this, but I didn't take a good look at it. So,
yeah, this was earlier today on the day we're recording. So I don't know, somewhere like noonish today, at least on the East Coast U.S. That it's kind of them. Some people, are still going to be like, it's too little, too late. And some people are like, oh, finally, it's awesome. And some people are just like, well, whatever, I don't want this stuff. But it's them kind of addressing all the problems and issues that Battlefield 4 has had since launch a little bit. So there's doing a ton of things with it. But first, they had, which you can't get it, the official blog page right now because the link is down. Maybe too many people going to it, who knows. But the whole blog side of the Battlefield site is down, so maybe they're just having some issues with too many people connected and crashed the servers on. Who knows? I have no idea right now. I just know I couldn't read it there, but I do have the press release elsewhere that's just literally copy-paste plus some of the other stories that other sites have run on it. So basically for the whole month of February, they're doing a bunch of different things. So every day that you log in, you will get a battle pack.
Cool.
If it's a weekday, it's bronze. If it's a weekend, it's a silver one. So those are all kind of like unlocks where you get attachments for your weapons or XP boots, soldier camos. It's all kind of like random drops. You open the case and it's, look, here's 3 or 4 things you get.
So you mean I need to actually start logging in?
Yeah, so you get those just for logging in every single day. You'll get one. So if you got one every day for the month of February, that would be like many, many hours normally that you would have to do, because you get them for leveling up every like 3 or 4 levels. You usually get one, and then like at level 10 you'll get a better quality one or something. So you've got bronze, silver, and gold basically are the levels that you get, and the gold ones have better stuff, or you have a better chance to get more rare items, I guess.
Right.
Plus you also have, like, for weapons, once you've unlocked everything, normally you start getting battle packs that are weapon packs, so you can eventually, even without getting them randomly through levels, if you have one weapon that you really, really like, you can unlock everything for it just by using it eventually. It takes a long time, but you can do it. But anyway, you're getting all those every day. You log in, you can get one.
Cool.
They're doing some shortcut bundles, so for free, everybody can get a grenade and handgun unlock thing. So you can unlock all the grenade types and all the handgun things if you don't have them already. You can choose not to use this unlock if you don't want to use it. But if you're like, I'm never going to get these pistols, but I want to use them, Now you can just get a thing, boom, you'll have them all.
Well, that's cool.
So if you're new to the game, or if you just haven't played it much, or if you just want to unlock them because you don't use pistols much, you can do that. Or all the grenade types. So you've got mini grenades, you got impact grenades, smoke grenades, a bunch of different types in Battlefield 4. So if you want, everybody gets those. If you have a Battlefield 4 Premium, you also can do shortcuts to unlock all of the DMRs and shotgun categories.
Oh,
so
that's nice.
Again, I believe it's optional. So if you want to unlock them the normal way, you can. Or if you already have them, it doesn't matter. Or if you don't want to grind it, you can get them all, then you can do that. They're going to be doing some double XP weekends for all players. I think it's one for everybody, and then there's an additional one for premium. They're going to be doing community missions, so where they'll have a thing for I'm not sure if they've said time-wise yet, but this week, try and get, a certain number of dog tags during the week, or, do stuff like that. And if community gets it, everybody gets a gold battle pack.
Oh, cool.
And, they're also, let's see, there's something else. Yeah, I think that's all just the stuff they're doing. They also had in this press release talking about, thanks for sticking with us. We're going to do this month of stuff for you, and they also mentioned the stuff okay, we're further improving a number of items commonly referred to as, quote, netcode. This will tighten the overall experience, and we'll be able to share what we're doing with this soon, which to me sounds like, okay, we just don't want to put all the details in this thing because this press release is long enough as it is.
That makes sense.
And they're also going to be adding the platoons feature into the battle log again in February, which was one of the most popular things from Battlefield 3. I was in one. That's kind of how I got linked up with a bunch of people I play with, was through the platoons on the website.
Right.
It's just a way to group up with your friends and keep track of all your stats together in one spot without having to look at all the different leaderboards and stuff. It just kind of gathers it together. Pretty nice. And you can, have a platoon emblem and all sorts of different things.
Cool.
So that's coming in February, apparently. So yeah, lots and lots of stuff on the Battlefield 4 front. There's a huge info dump today.
Yeah, it looks like there's a ton. I saw it come up a little while ago, but I hadn't read it. Hadn't taken the time to read it. So, but I knew you would fill me in on it when we got.
Yeah, even though I haven't played Battlefield 4 in a long time, mostly from playing some other stuff like Assassin's Creed and then Minecraft. Yeah. But also it's a little bit I could play, and I do have fun when I play it. It's just kind of working up the gumption, yeah, I want to play or not. With all the issues and things with it, that most of the time you can still play and have fun. It's just kind of I want to wait and see how the patches go, and it's just kind of drug out for a long, long time.
Well, and that's with me. I bought it on PlayStation 4 at launch, and I haven't. I booted up and played a little bit of the single player, but I had not played any of the online because of all the problems they were having. So I'm just I'll just wait. But sounds February might be the month. Each platform has its own
issues, and then there's some that's on all platforms, and they fix some things, and then some other things have reared their heads, and just this process has dragged out a long time or kind of the popular opinion in the community, even though they haven't officially, DICE or EA hasn't officially said this. It's pretty much kind of they were kind of hampered by a set release date, and they should have waited several months to actually put it out because it just wasn't ready to launch on 5 platforms at once.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's asking a lot.
Especially with a game so complicated with so many different moving parts and things as what Battlefield has. It's just that was a monumental task that just wasn't quite feasible.
Yeah. Yeah, it's and it's one of them things where if it had been any other company, they probably would have broke it up.
So EA, has had their troubles this year with PR, with that, and SimCity, and a couple other things. It's just they got a little bit of PR nightmare that they've wandered through in 2013. Maybe they'll do a bit better in 2014. Hopefully, with all their problems with this, maybe that'll help some of the behind-the-scenes stuff to help some of their future games not have as many problems. Maybe they learn from this. I don't know. I guess we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, this one's going to be wait and see. Hopefully it'll work out, though, because I would like to start playing it online. It's just, I'm waiting. All right, Shadows of Mordor. This looks really cool. I had read somewhere last week or the week before last that somebody was accusing them of using the Assassin's Creed 2 engine, but
yeah, I read a little something on that. I don't know if they actually use the engine or not. Regardless, it looks like it.
Yeah, I don't care.
Not the engine. It just looks like Assassin's Creed in its style, because it's like, hey, we're wandering around Mordor, and we'll sneak up behind some dudes and slash them, and they have these ropes that go between buildings that you can walk across, and you can leap off down onto them. And like the very first part of the demo video that they put out this week looks a lot like Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, it really
But when
does.
you get into full-on combat, it seems to have a little bit more elements of like the Batman Arkham Asylum and Arkham City, those games, as far as just the rhythm-based combat a little bit. But the thing that makes me really, really interested is kind of the overlay of like the open world, how it works with the different the different orc factions and different like leadership structure that they have, that you can kind of work your way through up from the lower guys and use them to, you know, work your way up to kill the guy on top. And by doing all these different things to the lower guys, you weaken the guy on top. And I heard in an interview with Adam Sessler was talking to one of the design guys for the game about they are comparing it to a sports title like Madden or something, where you're doing a season mode.
That'd be cool.
So apparently all these guys under the hood, like, they react to you, and sometimes, like, you battle a guy and he gets away, he'll remember you, and, like, you burned his face, and so he'll, like, have a little bit of dialogue, and apparently all this stuff is procedural, and, you know, it remains to be seen whether that's actually true or not, but if they actually are doing what they're saying they're doing, it seems very kind of quote-unquote next-gen in gameplay versus let's just make it look pretty.
Right. It looks really
And, you know,
cool.
it doesn't hurt that I love Lord of the Rings stuff anyway, so
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it tentatively.
I am too. I hope it turns out well, because I'd like a good Lord of the Rings game. It'd be really cool. And it does. It looks really nice. I was reading about it in Game Informer. I think it was last month. Was that last month? I think it was last month's issue.
Yeah, they announced the title of it back in like November or something, I think.
Yeah.
But they're just now kind of showing what it looks like.
Yeah. It looks really cool, though. I don't care if it uses the Assassin's Creed engine. Who cares? I mean, as long as it's
Well,
good.
it's, you know, it's more an issue if they used it without permission or something.
Right.
But I don't know about that. It just does look like kind of Assassin's Creed and Batman thrown together in a Lord of the Rings setting with a little bit of other stuff thrown on top, which, let's be honest, most open world games have similarities to other ones.
Mm-hmm.
But just the movement and the way it animates too looks a lot like those two as far as just what's going on. Because, you know,
Right.
with Batman, you have the thing where you bounce around between people and punch a guy, then flip across the room and punch another guy. It's kind of got a little bit of that
Yeah.
on here, where he's attacking one guy, then swooshes over here to another guy.
It's very flowy.
It looks fun.
Yeah, it looks real fun. So I hope it's good.
I had a lot of fun with, like, back on, like, PS2, GameCube days, the movie tie-in games, like Two Towers,
Yeah.
Return of the King, the
I like
action
those.
games.
Yeah, I
Like,
think
they
were
weren't the
cool.
best ever, but they were still a lot of fun.
Yeah, they were real good. Lego Lord of the Rings is awesome. Have you played it yet?
I have not played that. I need
It's,
to.
it's actually pretty good, believe it
The
or
weird
not.
thing holding it back for me was that they actually started using the movie dialogue in it instead
Yeah.
of just doing their pantomime stuff, which is
Yeah.
part of what I loved about the earlier Lego games, because they can do some really funny stuff. Where it seems like if you're just using movie dialogue, you can still do some of that, but it restricts you a little more. I don't know.
It does. It's weird. It takes some getting used to, but it's still pretty good. I have it on Steam. I think I have it on Steam. So
Yeah, I'm sure it's on one of these next Steam sales that show up. It'll be like $10 or something. I'll buy it.
Oh yeah, I think I bought it for like $7 from Amazon, months ago. But
Yeah.
but still, it's cool. But all right, surprisingly, well, not surprisingly, Xbox One leads December console sales.
Well, that's misleading.
It is misleading. It is very misleading.
It depends on, are you going numbers or price, or are
Right.
you going on, is handheld a console as well?
Right, exactly.
It's all the way you spin it.
Yep, it is all in the way you spin it.
But I think if you look at all of this, it's got all the NPD numbers and other things in there. You can say, hey, December and like November and stuff was really good for video games.
Yes.
You know, lots of Xbox One sold, lots of PS4 sold, 3DS sold pretty well. There's lots of different games that sold, so
Yeah.
yay, video games.
3DS sold more than any of them. So you could say maybe the Xbox may have been the console hook up to your TV leader, but the 3DS sold more than both of them combined. So, and probably PS4 would have sold a lot better if you could actually find one. That was the big thing in December. It was very hard to find them in stores. So, but that's okay. Let's see. What else? Hitman was announced. First details for the new Hitman game on PlayStation 4.
They're saying all the right things.
They are. They're saying all the right things.
Biggest levels, who cares? But bigger levels that are open sandboxes that you can decide your way to attack it. That's always been the best thing about Hitman.
Yeah, and I really enjoyed the Hitman games. It's kind of good to see them kind of going back to, I don't want to say old school, but it's kind of going back to their roots, I guess.
Yeah, a little bit. I think it's just like they're going a little bit back towards that direction, towards blood money, a little bit more than the last one. But I doubt they'll go all the way there. I don't know, just because, blood money is getting a little bit long in the tooth now.
Right, yeah, that's true. But still, it's always
exciting. But even the last one was fun. I haven't completed it. I played
half of
it or something.
I haven't either, because I just get frustrated in it and I have to walk away.
Yeah. Well, if you can do it, that's a fun thing with Hitman is you have this big sandbox and like, okay, I'm going to try and do super stealth this time, and the next time I'm going to be like, just go and kill everybody and not get as much points maybe, but it'll be fun.
Right, exactly.
Just like be in your face or, any combo in between. There's usually lots of little different things to play with. Just find the interesting ways to knock off your targets.
Yeah, that's always fun. It's always cool. Titanfall beta was announced, well, I guess technically today. It was revealed earlier today on Twitter that it will kick off during Valentine's Day this February. It was rumored a couple days ago that it was going to, and they finally came out and said that it would, but it's going to be PC and Xbox One beta. Details will be coming in a few days, so I'm glad to hear the PC beta is in there, because I know the alphas have already went out on Xbox One, because I actually got one in the email, but I don't have an Xbox One, so.
I'm interested to see. Yeah, I'm sure it'd be super popular if everybody want to try it out.
Yeah.
At least, and I definitely, if I can get in there, want to try it out.
I do too.
I'll be interested to see how many people do an about face and shut up about 6 versus 6 once they actually play it.
Well, I mean, I haven't heard much rumblings about it since the alpha came out on the Xbox One. I mean, I've still heard a little bit, but not like it was.
When they said that it was going to be 6v6, my Twitter exploded, because I've got a lot of friends who play shooters, and I follow a few accounts of people like YouTubers or other things that are connected to just kind of like shooters mostly. They don't do as much of other things, and they're all like really excited about Titanfall, but they're like, oh no, 6v6 is too tiny, especially for PC. I'm like, dude, player count does not necessarily mean, bigger is better.
Right. Yeah.
As like Adam Sessler, I think it is, who puts it, the less players in there is the less potential for jerks.
Exactly.
He uses a little bit more harsh language. But
yeah, he does. Yeah, I saw that one. I saw on the address was not Sessler something. Yeah, so yes. He said something about that.
Which it makes sense. And plus, with all the like different AI stuff in there, like you have your mech that you can call down. You don't have to be in it, but it doesn't just sit there when you're not in it. It kind of, I don't know if it follows you or if it's just kind of sits in an area or whatever exactly, since I haven't played it yet. But, that's upping it. So it's kind of like 12v12 at that point. Then you got a bunch of cannon fodder, I guess. They're really a little bit weird in saying that all of the other human players sitting in there that are AI are not bots, but they have a different function than players, so who knows?
Huh?
It's weird language, but
weird language.
To me, it's kind of like, okay, out of E3 and other events it's been at, people who've played it have loved it, and it's been 6v6 there.
Yeah. So.
And what they've played is technically 6 players for 6 players.
I can't wait.
And it's fun, and everyone seems to love it. So what are you, all you people who haven't played it, shut up.
Pretty much. I can't wait.
If you still don't like it, and you play it, and you're still like 6 versus 6 just isn't enough, fine. Whatever. That's cool. You've tried it, and you actually have something to base that on.
Exactly.
And, who knows what? On PC, they might even, it depends on if they let you or not, but, with Battlefield and some other games, you can rent a server and adjust your player count.
Exactly.
Maybe they won't let you on here. Maybe they will. Who knows? But
we'll see.
They've tested it up to, I think, they say 20 versus 20, I think. Something like that. And they said 6v6 was a sweet spot. So, hey, why not?
Hey, that's fine with me. I'm not going to complain. But
if it's fun, who cares?
Exactly. And I want to get into the beta, so I'll be watching the Twitter. Speaking of people getting in the beta, and I didn't put this in the show notes, but I read it right before we started recording. Apparently, the PlayStation Now private closed beta emails have been going out. So they started this evening, so for their streaming service. So
I'm interested in seeing how well that works.
Yeah, I'm hoping to get an email by tomorrow because I would like to try it out because I have 5 meg internet. Actually, I have 30 meg internet, up and down. So give it to me.
Yeah, if it doesn't work for you, then...
That's right. If it doesn't work for me, it ain't going to work for anybody. So, in another surprising move yesterday, it was announced that Microsoft bought the rights to Gears of War from Epic Games.
Really? You find that surprising?
No,
I found that like, oh, okay,
really.
Duh.
Yeah, I didn't. It was a sarcastic, surprising move.
Yeah, okay.
They're
Should
handing
have
it
done
off
the air quotes. Maybe I could have heard them.
Oh, sorry. Next time I'll go. They're handing it off to Black Tusk Studio out of Vancouver, and Rod Ferguson, the former director of production at Epic Games, is the one who's going to be in charge of it. So it is in good hands because he's one of the original creators of it. Him and Cliffy B were the two people who came up with the game. So at least one of them is staying on, with Microsoft. So I'm not surprised by this at all. A lot of rumors were going around this week that it was going to come out on PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 3, and Microsoft, they got to do something. They got to have some good first-party
Which I think those rumors, who knows where they came from, because this has been going on for a while. It didn't just suddenly happen overnight.
No. Well, Rod Ferguson stepped down, it was October, November. It was sometime before the holidays, and it was very sudden, it was very abrupt, and it was very out of the blue. So people were freaking out then, thinking that, Epic Games is losing everybody. Well, there was a reason why, because he was going to Microsoft, and he probably knew right then and there when he resigned that he was going to Microsoft. So, they were in the works. But, it's good. I'm glad it stays on Xbox. It should stay on Xbox, with it. I wouldn't, even if it went third party and come out on PlayStation 4 and 3 and all, I'd still play it on Xbox because that's where I've played all the other ones at. So,
yeah, this just makes sense. This is just Microsoft making it more official as this is our other kind of main franchise that kind of pairs with Halo.
Yeah. Well, and
even though it was Epic before, it was still like, okay, this is, our exclusive. Mm-hmm. And now they're just kind of solidifying it so when it goes to next gen, it can't go to PS4 or anywhere else.
Right. And that's all they've done. They just secured it to always be. And it's good because, it was getting kind of short in the tooth for first-party games there for the Xbox 360 from Microsoft. So it was kind of looking like there may not be a whole lot of first-party support for the Xbox One. But, this is a good move for Microsoft because you at least have Gears of War, you'll have Halo, you'll have Fable, you'll have... a good core of first-party.
I want to see them do some new stuff as well, but it's definitely a good move for them. I think because it keeps Gears of War and it gives it to somebody who will probably do a pretty good job with it, or at least has the potential to. And it also means, okay, now what's Epic going to do? They don't have to do Gears anymore. That frees them up to do something else.
Yes, and they have several new games in development that nobody has said what they are. They haven't said, but there are some in development. So there'll be some good stuff come out of that. Out of that studio. They're always good games. So I'm excited to see what they bring out. Speaking of first-party games, Infamous Second Son will not have multiplayer, which I think is fine. I am okay with that.
I say, wait, multiplayer was in... Oh, yeah, I forgot. The second one had it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which nobody ever played it, or at least I never did.
It's like, why? It's one of those things where you try and force it into something. It's like, it doesn't need to be there.
It's like the multiplayer in Tomb Raider. It doesn't need to be there.
I haven't even tried it.
I played it for 5 minutes. I'm like, bleh.
It could be all right. It's just kind of like, that's not what people are coming to that game for. So why waste resources on it just because, we're going to have a multiplayer bullet pointer in the box? Like, no, don't do that.
No.
But especially like something like Infamous, it's a big open world game. Like, what do you do multiplayer wise in that unless it's kind of like co-op where you do that? Like Saints Row has co-op in it. Well, it's technically not multiplayer other than, just a couple. It's not like competitive like what I'm assuming they're talking about here. Well, so it's like, I don't know that multiplayer really works in an open world unless it's some massive thing.
Exactly. Well, and that's, to me, I would rather, if you're going to do multiplayer on a game, do it right. But if you're going to do it right, that's going to take away from your people doing a single-player game, so then you end up just throwing some kind of crap multiplayer in there. So I'd rather you just not put it in there at all.
Yeah,
So,
it's like,
yeah.
do it right or do nothing at all.
Yeah, do it right or do nothing at all. So, I mean, this looks...
You
this is
want to be
good.
able to give everything its fair shake. If you're trying to force way too much into this thing and it just becomes way too big of a project, everything's going to suffer. So
Exactly.
I think that's actually a good thing, and then hopefully that means that the actual like single player game will be a lot more polished.
Yeah.
Find out, I guess, but
yeah,
it looks cool from what little they've shown of it.
Yeah, I'm excited. We'll see more at E3 and PAX and everything like that. So, because it will.
Well, when does Infamous come out?
I think it's supposed to come out in 2014. I think it's supposed to come out.
I thought it was early before E3. I thought it was coming out in a few months, but
Maybe it's June.
I haven't looked at it in a long time. So.
I haven't either. Maybe it's June is when it was coming out. I know. I had moved some pre-orders around, and I just threw $5 on it. It says March 21st is the expected release date. So
that's what I was thinking. It was before E3. So when you said that, I was like, wait a minute, we'll see it before that.
I was thinking it was June for some reason. I had June on the brain. So.
Well, these release dates for this, it slips all the time. So
oh yeah, who knows?
If you haven't paid attention to it, it's like, well, this is the last I heard. But...
Yeah. Speaking of release dates, Final Fantasy XIV for the PlayStation 4 release date was announced over the weekend. It's April 14th. The beta for PlayStation 4 is scheduled to start February 22nd, which coincides with the launch of the PlayStation 4 in Japan. If you own a PlayStation 3 version of Final Fantasy, you will be able to upgrade to the PlayStation 4 version for free, but there is a stipulation that they said it was on it. You can never play the PlayStation 3 version again unless you set up another account, which kind of sucks, but
I don't know. For most people, that's not going to matter.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I'm not going to play it on the PlayStation 3 anyway. I'm going to play it on the PlayStation 4 or the PC. So, and I have an account on both of them, so that's fine. Plus, it's like, okay, good. You're going to give me the PlayStation 4 version. That means I don't have to go spend $60 to download it again. So, that's cool. Look forward to that. The other thing that Sony came out with this week and talked a little bit about was their PlanetSide update for the PlayStation 4, and EverQuest Next was announced for the PlayStation 4. Big surprise there. There's another one. Ooh, I'm not surprised at all.
It doesn't matter if it's surprising. It's still good to have stuff coming out.
Yeah. I mean, it's nice to see a lot more MMOs coming out on the consoles. Now that they're more like PCs, it's nice. And plus, the PlayStation 4 will actually allow you to use a mouse and a keyboard. So, for you RPGers out there who are more accustomed to that.
For some things, that's good. I don't think they should do that for PlanetSide.
No, I don't think so either.
Which I don't think that they are, because they've been working so long on this port that I think they're trying to just make it work well with a controller.
And it will.
And if you ever play that on PC, they're going to have to do some work with the interface to make that work and not be cumbersome.
Right. It'll be interesting to see how it works out. Now, that's free to play on the PC, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, I thought so.
Has been since it launched.
So it should be free to play on the PlayStation.
Oh, yeah, it's still free to play.
And that's
what they've said every single time.
Yeah, and Sony did announce that they were shutting down servers for 4 online games: Vanguard, Clone Wars Adventures, and Free Realms and Wizardly Online. So they are closing those later this year. So if you play any of those games, don't spend any more money on it because you're going to lose it.
I'm curious with PlanetSide 2. How that's going to coincide, because they're doing, if you pay attention, they've got another continent that's supposed to come out sometime this year.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're going to put that on a PC version first, and then it will also be in PS4 when it comes out. If they're going to put them all at the same time, or they're going to, space it out, who knows?
They haven't really said, but I'm looking forward to PlanetSide. I liked it on the PC.
I'm betting it's going to be later this year, otherwise at least summer. Because otherwise they would have said something like, it's coming in March, or it's coming in April, but they haven't. So it's going to be at least summer, I think, before it comes out.
Yeah, well, they just added it to the pre-order screen on the PlayStation Store on the PlayStation 4 today, but it doesn't have of course, it doesn't have a date on it or anything, but they do have it up, so that's a sign that it's moving somewhere. So,
I think if they get it out there before fall, it could do very, very well, because there's not tons. There'll be a few games between now and then that come out, but there still won't be a huge library yet on PS4.
Right.
so that it'll have a chance to kind of take hold, and a lot of people will try it out because it's free, and if they really like it, they'll keep playing it.
Right.
I think it could be pretty good.
A late spring, early summer release seems right, just because they're not going to have summertime is not usually big releases, so it'd be a good time to sneak that out there.
As long as it works, I think that's kind of what they're trying to do with it, because otherwise they would have rushed it out at launch, I think.
Exactly. Yeah, I think you're right. Anything else? I put in the anything else column, I put the Titanfall limited edition controller because it just looked badass.
It's pretty.
Xbox One. It is pretty. It is really cool. If I had an Xbox One, I would probably buy that controller just because it looks awesome. I really like the way it looks. I like the white and the orange.
Only thing that it makes you wish is they did a console in that style too.
Mm-hmm. And gee, I wonder if they will.
Maybe eventually, who knows, but imagine how awesome it would look, because even if it's still just a box shape, if it had that texturing on it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that
the black and the orange and kind of the white with the hexagons and gray kind of stuff, they could do something pretty cool.
Yeah, I think it'd be real cool. And in the other anything else, I put Madden 25 predicts this year's Super Bowl winner. It looks like that the Broncos will beat the Seahawks 31-28 in overtime. So all you gamblers out there, if you believe in Madden, go place your bets now. But very interesting. It's always cool to see. They always play out the Madden on there, and it's always, I don't want to say it always predicts it, but 8 out of the past 10 Super Bowls that they've done, it works really.
Maybe they were just mistaken. It's like the Patriots win.
That would be hilarious. Oh wait, the Patriots aren't in it. Right.
Well, they had I remember reading a thing right after that weekend that some place, I forget where it was, like maybe it was in New Jersey or somewhere close to Boston, I think. I'm not sure it was in Boston or not, but this T-shirt place put out a bunch of those.
Well, it doesn't surprise me.
Because, they always make them for both teams. It's like, hey, they're the champions.
Do you know what they do with those?
What?
Do you know what they do with those shirts? When they make up enough for, like they had the Broncos and the Patriots. Well, the Broncos won the AFC, so they had all these Patriot shirts. Do you know what they do with those? They donate them to third world countries for clothing. No, I swear they do. I've seen pictures.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. It's better than just like throwing them away or something.
Yeah, I mean they give them away because I've seen pictures of people who go over to other countries to give aid and things like that, and they'll take pictures of kids in shirts, and they're wearing like Super Bowl champion Patriots for the year that they went to the Super Bowl, but they didn't win it. It just cracks me up.
Well, all these places do that all the time. They might do a limited run at first, but they still make them for both, so they can put them out as fast as they want.
Oh yeah.
It's just this time they put it out a little too early, and
a little bit of slippage.
Jumped the gun a bit.
That's all right.
Whatever shop this was, it just amused me when I remember reading about that.
Yeah, it is funny. Also, PSN sale, Final Fantasy sale came up today. All the Final Fantasy games are pretty good prices if you haven't bought any of them. Also, the Assassin's Creed games are all half price on PSN as well. I noticed that this afternoon. So if you want to replay the Assassin's Creed games, the older ones, they are all on sale. Anything else?
I ain't got nothing.
I don't either. I don't have a thing. I don't have nothing.
Haven't we talked about enough already?
Yeah. Well, that's okay. We didn't get to do a show last week, so and it's a new show this week. So hey, you know what? They'll have to get used to it. They have to get used to us going long. That's okay though.
Well, I'm used to listening to long podcasts myself, like the Giant Bombcast. It's always like almost 3 hours long. So whatever.
Wow. Yeah, that's long. Yeah,
we're well under that.
Thank goodness. Yeah, we are well under that. But I try to listen to it, but sometimes it's like I try to listen to so many podcasts during the week, I start running out of time. And that one's one that I don't listen to too often because it's so long. I listen to bits and pieces of it.
Well, I love that podcast because it's supposedly about video games, and they talk about it, certainly some, but they go on some crazy tangents, so you never know what kind of weirdness you're going to get.
Right. That's true.
I love it.
Very true. All right. Well, if we've got nothing else, we're going to go ahead and get out of here right now. You guys can reach us by email at thegamerslounge@gmail.com. Be sure to send us your emails. We want feedback. We want to know what you guys think of the show, what you want to see in the show, all that good stuff.
Send us questions.
Yes, send us questions, because you know what? We'll probably have prizes to give away. Eric's always got some kind of prize to give away, so be sure to send us an email so you might be able to get something really cool. We all have Twitter accounts. You can follow us on Twitter. I'm at JCMeadows94. Nathaniel is at Polygon_Wizard. Eric's at Cube00. And you can follow the website and the podcast. They're both under the same Twitter, at GL_podcast. And be sure to check out the site. It's www.thegamerslounge.com. It's a little tricky, though. It's the-gamers-lounge, because everybody's squatting on the Gamers Lounge. So, I'm not paying big bucks.
That just means we have a good name, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think it means we have a very popular name, and everybody wants this name. So, all right, guys.
Popping back to Twitter really quick. Eric is Cube with a K.
Oh, yes. Cube with a K.
00 with a K.
I always take it for granted that everybody knows it's with a K, but
well, if they've heard the other shows before, they might know that, but new people won't.
Yes,
so I wanted to make sure we get that down.
You're absolutely right. But be sure to check out the website, guys. We got some articles up right now. Be adding some more in a couple of days. The podcast will be there. It'll probably be there before it's on iTunes, so you guys might hear this before it's actually on iTunes. But subscribe to us on iTunes when it does come up. If you subscribe to us, that'll get us into the top 300 podcasts. The more subscriptions we get, so it'll get the word out there to everybody, which would be awesome. And so we should be back same time next week, and we hope to see you all there. Have a good week.